Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justin Hamilton. I am a dear friend, and I like to consider myself part of the family of both Bill and Suzanne. And just for this little special moment that we get to have here together, I think one of the unique things is that, one, to know the power of just relationships, and that there is a power of just being in blood relationships with one another, of family, but there's also the ability that we get to have and shared of just investing in one another's life. And I think that's one of God's greatest gifts that we get to have, is that in the way that Suzanne and I have built a relationship, we've built a friendship, but we've also built a family connection, an extended family, a spiritual connection. And I think in the uniqueness of Bill's life and the way that he's affected even my life and to the rest of us around here today, we want to be able to solely focus on the God kids and the God parents and those that are going to continue to see these people that we love, these next generations of those that Bill invested their lives into, that it's not over, but that there's always a covering for these people here. And in fact, my wife Savannah has a scripture to read that exemplifies how beautiful it is in the relationships that we have in godparents.
Isaiah 41:10. For I am with you, and I am your God. I will strengthen you, even help you. I will uphold you with my right hand that brings victory.
And so I want to invite that to be a reminder of who the Lord is and what he does for us and the people that we bring into our lives. And the people that I'm going to invite here in just a moment are going to come up, and they're going to be a read to letter to one another as a way of exemplifying that even though Bill has passed away, his heart and his message to both James and Audrey have not passed away. In fact, if I could bring up both Erica and Gina and Eric, as well as Audrey, if you may come up. So, Audrey. All right, well, Audrey, if I could at least have you stand right here.
A letter to my goddaughter, Audrey. It is truly crazy to think that you are almost 16. I still vividly remember the day you were born, and it fills my heart with joy to witness the phenomenal young woman you have become. There is nothing better than watching your growth. You are so many wonderful things: smart, kind, athletic, beautiful, and your faith at the center of your core. You truly live your life by example, and I find myself watching and learning from you on my own journey. Thank you for showing me and so many others a better way. I know this year has been tough for many reasons, but seeing your strength and loving you and loving way you care for your mom and others around you has been beautiful and inspiring. And speaking of strength, seeing you dedicated to cheerleading has brought back so many great memories. Yes. When we used to cheer. And those years taught me some of the best lessons of my life: teamwork, dedication, and forming real lasting relationships. It's such a demanding sport, and I love watching you shine. And wow, congratulations on getting second place. Woo! It's truly incredible. I absolutely love seeing the fun side of you and hearing you laugh. It makes me really happy. Your laugh is completely contagious, so true to your authentic self. Please don't ever stop being you. Audrey, I want you to know that you are my family, and I truly look at you as another daughter of mine. I will always be here for you, and you can count on me unconditionally for your entire life. Yes, you are stuck with me for good. The bad and the ugly. I got you. As you celebrate this upcoming milestone of a birthday, I want to share a scripture that speaks to the strength and spirit I see in you, especially as you navigate life and your demanding cheer schedule. And you guys kind of said this one, so I feel proud that I picked this one. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will be your strength, I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you and with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. I am so proud to be your godparent, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish next. I love you so much.
Yes, that's Eric next.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. First, I would like to express my deepest gratitude and honor to Suzanne for trusting in me to be Audrey's godfather. This means more than words can say. To Audrey, first and foremost, I want to be clear that I have no intentions of filling the void of losing Bill as a father. What Bill did for you out of love was above and beyond the call of duty. And I'm so grateful to have been his friend. I'm truly honored to be chosen to be your godfather. This role is not just a title, but a commitment to guide and support you as you grow. I promise to be there for you to celebrate your achievements and to help you navigate life's challenges. I look forward to creating wonderful memories together and watching you flourish. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be your God.
All right, is Gina here still?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Holding it together. Holding it together. Okay. Obviously, Suzanne and I have been friends since we were 12. She's family. She's not friend. That definition doesn't work anymore. And the honor of being one of Audrey's godparents is beyond any gift, material or otherwise, that I could ever receive from you. Because when I spend time with Audrey, I get to spend more time with you and the youth in you and all the giggles and fun and everything that made us friends and got us where we are today. So I know sometimes we drive crazy. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to just be crazy with my friend Suzanne inside of her daughter, her beautiful, gorgeous, cheerleading daughter. So I just have a few words. Okay. So Audrey, today we gather to celebrate something truly beautiful, your life, your spirit, and the love that surrounds you. From the moment you arrived, you brought light with you. And as your godmother, I promise to help keep that light shining brightly. My prayer for you is simple, that you grow up knowing how deeply you are loved, how precious you are, and how much goodness you carry inside you. May you always feel supported, protected, and encouraged to be exactly who you are meant to be. To your mom. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this honor and making me feel more family. I've always admired your spirit, your audaciousness, the way you change a room when you walk into it. And I'm just so honored to be your bestie. And I'm so honored to have Audrey to connect. Because all the time I spend with her gives me you back in so many ways. Audrey, may today be the beginning of a new life filled with grace, joy, and gentle strength. I couldn't love you anymore.
Audrey, you may read yours.
Let's see, go first. I'll do Erica. I'll do Erica. All right. Aloha, Erica. Yeah. Hawaii.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We are going.
We are?
Well, we are. Well,
Oh,
we're going.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
we are
we're
going to
going.
Hawaii. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay.
You're an extraordinary woman. I admire your work ethic, your humor, success, and care for everyone in your life. You are so gorgeous inside and out. And let's not forget Snatched. And whenever we hang out, it's always a blast, and I'm so grateful and lucky to have you as my aunt and godmother. I don't think my family and I would be here where we are today without you. I appreciate every last thing you've done for us, especially that little lemon, because I also will be looking snatched. So,
She looks real good.
yeah, love you lots, Audrey.
Thank you.
Hey, Eric. I'm so stoked my mom selected you as my godfather. You're an amazing guy, and you truly light up that room with that jolly smile of yours. You have such a loving family, and whenever I see you guys together, I can tell everyone's so grateful to have each other in their life. They are so lucky to have a fantastic dad like you. You're so nice and easy to talk to, and our times together are always so great. And I'm excited for many more. Much love, Audrey. All right, last but not least. Hi, Gina. Thank you for always being there for me and my family. I know I can always come to you if I need anything or just want to talk. And same goes to you. You're so kind with such a caring soul. But sometimes that kindness can get out of hand with the, no joke, I'll like come downstairs when she's staying over and there'll be like 40 gallons of DoorDash just laying on the counter. And then, no, but I appreciate it because that's gone in like a day. So, but I always have so much fun with you, and you and my mom have been in each other's lives for basically forever, and I'm so glad in that time she picked you as my godmom because you really fit the title. You're awesome, so keep up the good work. I love you and appreciate you so much, and I'm so pumped for Paris, or as they say it, bon voyage.
James, 20 years ago, you took up a big space in my heart. Something amazing happens when you have the opportunity to see the miracle of life happen before your eyes. But you are my nephew and you are my godson. I fell in love with you the first time I held you. I will never forget that special time together. I cherish those days that followed as I helped your mom take care of you your first week of life. Since then, there has been so much joy and so much laughter we've all been blessed with. There have also been some ups and downs, or peaks and valleys, as my godmother would say. With that, I'd like to share a scripture from the book of James. Okay, 1:2, about trials. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. I want you to know that I am so proud of you. So proud of you for enduring life's difficulty, working hard to conquer challenges, and being able to celebrate by reflecting back on your efforts that got you where you are right now. God never promises us a life without trials and tribulation. But he did promise to walk with us, give us sufficient grace, mercy, and hope. That's what I see when I look at you. The fact of the matter is, trials and tribulations happen to all of us. But what endures during those times of adversity is the love we all have for you and the love you have for us. And most importantly, all of our love that we share for God. It is my hope and prayer that it will always be this way, that you and I will always be close enough to share our stories and be there for one another and remind one another it is all for his glory while we experience true joy. I love you, James, from the bottom of my heart, your aunt and godmother, Jamie. You can keep all the baby pictures. He's naked. Just to keep them all. I cut out all the other parts. But
Those money's still here.
we'll just tell some jokes.
6 minutes?
No.
All right, James.
I like jokes.
You can go next and you can dance for us for a little bit. Stand comedy.
It's okay. You can wing it. It's okay. There you go. Do you want it? Or he doesn't want it? Okay. So your mom is
Test 1, 2. Yes, Jamie, I wanted to say first off, thank you for taking up the opportunity to be my godmother. Of course, you're my aunt, you're my family. You always have been, you always will be. For that, I love you and thank you. It's an honor for you to be my godmother. I wouldn't, want anyone else, to be my godmother besides, very select few people. Maybe some, yeah, hi. As you previously mentioned, going through the trials and tribulations, I went through a few years back. I could not have done that without you. Because of you, I was able to push through that and, persevere. And now I am not just surviving.
Don't you give up on me.
I'm eternally grateful for that. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for me.
Come on, joy, pump it up. Hey, come on, here we go. Sunshine. What else?
That's what you do. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. Thank you, and I love you.
You don't need no notes. Just your heart. This is for you.
Okay. I was going to have James do stand-up comedy with that mustache, but...
I have something to kill time. I was going to do it privately, but Monty's 4 minutes away. That's what you get for having a Tesla. Just kidding. He lost his charge. And so have I. We all been there. At least we have a good story, right? All right. So I didn't plan on speaking, so I apologize. I don't have anything to prepare. But I wanted this intimate ceremony because you're the inner circle. Your family that I love. It was the last 10 years have been ups and down and over and out, as Frank Sinatra says. But that's life, right? It's always up and down. But it takes a village to raise children. And all of you are that village. And I just want you to know, even though you're here to be with us today, we're here for you to serve you. And so we love you and we honor you. We pray for you. Every time you're in my heart, and I live by the Girl Scouts. Make new friends. Oh, right on, I got music background. Make new friends, keep the old. One is silver, the other's gold. And that's why I made a new friend with Lindsay and Bud. Thank you for being here. Giselle and Mark. Oh my gosh, my hearts. All of you. So just thank you. But because, I like to create my own mafia without killing anyone and doing anything illegal. So just to want to clarify that. My dad taught us to, you need to have your family. You got to have the family, right? So Eric, I'd like you to come up and take your mafia pinky ring. Come on up. Let's give Eric a big round of applause.
Oh, wow, you earned it.
Now, I want you to know it's a mafia ring. Now, I did ask for your ring size. I'm going to put it on. Now, keep in mind, what the symbolism that's on this ring is there's a scripture in the Bible, and it's my favorite prayer that I've said over your families. Every time I walk on the beach, every time I go swim in the pool and work out, I go, Lord, I pray for the Davids. I pray for the Hodges. I pray for the Peoples. And I pray for the Lockheimers and the Stidhams and, the Gruins, excuse me. The Stidhams, I hope I'm not missing anyone. The Smiths and the Benwards and the Ursinis, the best for last. Alina, all of you. When you come to mind, I say this prayer. Put the helmet of salvation on you, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the gospel of peace upon you, the sword of the Spirit in your hand, the belt of truth. And I say that prayer over all of your families and all 21 of our children because they're the next generation. And so this is the scripture I just said over you. Eric, you are officially in the mafia. The Jesus Mafia. There you go. Yes, you do. Well, I did call your wife. Okay. Monty's not here yet, so he has to wait. Gina, you have your dog tags as a warrior. Here you go. Yes, this is the armor of God. Jamie, come on up. We're going to put a picture with everybody here with the godchildren too. Come on, James and Audrey, get up. Erica, come on up. Here you go. Wish Monty would walk in right now. It'd be great timing. Who am I forgetting? Who am I forgetting? James, there's James. Audrey. There you go. There you go. And I'm going to put Monty on the phone so he can at least be here in spirit and the voice, because I can't handle it, him not being here. He's been a great godfather without being in. Monty, are you here? Okay, well, we're finishing the ceremony, but everybody say hi to Monty.
Hi, Monty.
It's okay. Okay, well, we'll take another picture later, right, Brian? So we're just finishing the ceremony, and I have a pinky ring for you, Monty. But we'll see you soon. Love you. Bye. You guys take your time, guys, and that's it. Looks like good.
Perfect. Thank you.
Father, we thank you today. We thank you that your grace is amazing. So amazing that we can't even comprehend nor explain. Father, thank you for moments. Thank you for moments like this. Father, thank you for community, for family, for friends, for love and sustenance and strength that allows us to keep going in times when we can't. God, thank you that we are all on a journey as we dimly see now, and one day we have the opportunity to know in full, just like Bill has. Father, we thank you that you are our example, you are our way, you are our truth, and you are our life. So today, we celebrate life. We celebrate life well lived. We celebrate a life continuing to live. And we all pray, as you taught us to pray, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. It's a day that there'll be tears. That's okay. There'll be laughs, maybe even better. There'll be memories relived. There'll be stories told. There will be moments created today that only we can give to Bill, for he created them in our lives. I, in this room, probably, of all the people, possibly, quite possibly, might know Bill the least, to be honest. I'm married into the deal. My wife and he and so many of you went to school together, and so but I'm up here because one of my favorite people on the planet is Suzanne, and I'm here to be a part of this celebration because it wasn't just not too long ago that Bill and I hung out in Hawaii, and we were able to be there together for some time. And it was really the first time for me to experience him in all his glory. And those of you know him, you know he's got a lot of glory. And the one thing I would say that immediately struck me was how inquisitive he was. Immediately inquisitive about me, about my story, about my journey, about my life, but also just, quite frankly, inquisitive about life. Well before he knew any of the news that he would be facing ahead of him. And I walked away from that week to 10 days myself going, man, you know what that is? It's what the Bible calls being a child. They asked Jesus, how do you enter heaven? He said, be like a kid. Be like a child. Be like someone who is inquisitive, who is constantly looking and searching and wanting to know more, one who trusts completely, one who's going, here, Dad, pick me up. I'm all yours. I need you. That's what I got from Bill. To the very last breath. And so today we're going to sing a song. I'm going to sing a song of you. If you know it, please sing along. It's called The Blessing. Now, the lyrics of this song, believe it or not, are not just songs that somebody just wrote just suddenly. They're actually, archaeologists have found these very words that are found in Numbers, and they them back to about 3,000 plus years ago, believe it or not. So these are words that you're going to hear and or be a part of singing with me if you'd like, that are words that have been around a long time. You know, we use the word blessing a lot in different ways. I know if you're from the South like me, my grandma used to say, will you say blessing? Will you say the blessing before dinner, you know? Or, man, I'm so blessed. God's blessed me, right? It means good things. But also, quite frankly, the blessing are words to invoke the presence of God into a space and to invoke the favor of God upon your life. And I don't know who you are today. I don't know where you come from today, and it doesn't matter. We're all in a place and a space together that, quite frankly, all of us, as you look around, will never probably be together again like this. This is a special day. It's a special time, and it's a special place.
Lord, turn his face toward you and give you peace. If you know it, sing with me. The Lord bless you. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. 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 May his favor be upon you for 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his presence go before you, and behind you, and beside you, all around you, and within you. He is with you, he is with you in the morning, in the evening, in your coming, and your going, and your weeping, and rejoicing. The Bible calls favor something that you can't earn, something that's just given as a gift. May his favor be upon you today, for your generation. This is what Bill loved the most about this song, this next part. 1,000 generations. Your family, your children, their children, their children, their children. Why? Why did he love that? He loved his family. He loved his legacy. He had the ability to think beyond himself and see down the line of what it means to make the right decision. You guys know his journey. I call it a beautiful one. A beautiful one. Sure, so much heartache along the way. So many things that could have been not that way. I'm not taking away from that and the pain that was there. But ultimately, coming to the place of surrender and brokenness is what we all are after, I think we should be. A place of honesty and transparency and go, man, I don't have it all together. And getting to that place is when transformation happens. So he got to that place and he began to hear this song in this moment is reality of his kids and their kids and their kids and their kids being changed by the decisions that could have been made in that moment that he made. So if you don't mind, I'm going to sing that part again. And if you can, just close your eyes, close yourself in, if you so choose. And maybe, just maybe, you'll hear not only the voices in this room and my voice, but maybe you'll hear some voices of heaven. Maybe, just maybe, in your spirit you might hear Bill singing along. May his favor be upon you for 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you for 1,000 generations, and your family, and their children, and their children, and their children. Amen. Amen.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justin. I like to consider myself a good friend, but also part of the family of Suzanne and Bill. I've known them for 6 years, and such a precious moment every time we got to spend with Suzanne and Bill. I don't look back at whenever bad memory with them. And just a little bit to know of our history. As I got to be a part of their wedding and see them get married right before my wife and I did, was such an example to me of just what a marriage should look like, in the way that Bill really loved his wife. He really loved all his kids. And in my circumstance, it was hard because my wife recently moved 4 months ago to Southern California on the devastating news that Bill was going to pass away. The last time I got to see Bill was I was at Great America doing an event with Suzanne. And even when he was not feeling good, he was doing so much work for his wife. And the last thing that I got to hear from him is, "Hey, I won't see you again, but I'll give you a call." I never got that call. And I really miss Bill a lot. I really miss him. And I think he just stands out to me as somebody that really exemplifies what fatherhood and work ethic looks like in my life as I'm a husband and as I continue to follow Jesus. In fact, I like to think of those two words to encompass almost under one word called servanthood. He was a man that served. Because a servant isn't somebody that focuses on themselves, but they do it for the better of other people that they love. And I think we can all look at that picture of Bill, and you could see that smile on his face as an example that he found joy in serving people. Maybe at some point in your life, there's a way that he served you, whether it's just being there to be the funny guy that you needed or the best friend that you needed in the moment. But in that photo, that was the man that had a willing heart to serve. And I value that of Bill in my life as an example, to be someone that looks to people and was willing to serve. Even in the midst of his diagnosis, he was still willing to serve his wife. And I think it represents such a strong place in my heart because Jesus is our ultimate example of what servanthood looks like. In Mark 10:45, it says, "The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many." And though Bill isn't Jesus, he did exemplify what that really looked like. And I pray in my own life that I would be a man that would serve my wife, that would serve the people that I love, even when things get hard or things get rough, that I would reflect on Bill's life as it reflected Jesus' life and the way that he loved people. That he was a best friend to me. I loved hanging out with him, and I loved knowing that I never knew his name was William. That was quite surprising to me because I think Bill has a better suit. But if his mom named him William, there was a reason for that. So maybe I can't call him my best friend, but I can call him a great friend. And just to remember that as a friend, as a father influence in my life, and just as a man that served, he will always have an impact in my life, and I will miss him. But I know that God has him in a better spot with Jesus. And that gives me great comfort to know that I don't have to say goodbye, but I can say, see you soon. In this, I also get to have the privilege of kind of emceeing this time that we have together. And there's a few people here that want to be able to share some words. And so if I can invite Bill's brothers and friends, if I can invite Paul and John as they have a few words to share. Paul and John are here. They're here.
Guess that doesn't work.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you guys for being here. My name is John Camacho. I'm a family friend and Bill's best friend. We gather here today to celebrate the life of William Lawrence Irvin, our friend, our brother, our soul rider. We gathered today I gathered here today to eulogize him and really go through a chronological time of his life. And so he was born March 12, 1970 in Walnut Creek. Bill came into this world with those iconic blue eyes. He was the first male grandson of the Irving side, named with purpose after his grandpa Noonan and carrying the initials WLE to honor his grandpa Irvin. They nicknamed him William the Last. And if you knew Bill, you knew his name fit. He was truly one of a kind, for sure. When the Irvins moved to Morgan Hill in 1976, it felt like the whole town woke up. Charlene Court suddenly had energy. Perhaps a little chaos and lots of horses. The 80s were pure Bill. That was his era. He had his skateboard era during this time. He rode hard, fell harder. We built ramps at Greg Wheeler's house, and where he lost, where a lot of us learned balance, bruises, and belonging. Then came his surfing era. The 80s were in the mid 80s, riding over the hill in Santa Cruz and chasing waves and just living free. And between all that, we rode through the Coyote Valley with horses, through the rivers and through lakes. It was just everything that Bill was. But what Bill did the best really was bring people together, like all you guys. Bill wasn't just the life of the party. He was the reason the party happened. Because in high school, his house parties at his parents' house were legendary. Living that kind of free-spirited California kind of life, really, you only see in like something in a John Hughes movie or something. But and somehow Bill got skaters, surfers, jocks, rocker, even the quiet kids, all under one roof. Dancing, loving, and just living life. That was Bill. He opened our world to music, from the English beat to anything reggae, and every ska band that he can skate to. We saw these shows live. Together, I believe, and believe me, Bill danced every note. Then came the college years in San Diego and San Luis Obispo, full of adventure for Bill. Not just living college life, he was living life. In 1985 began a new chapter, Life with Marcy, a connection that would shape his heart and his life. Their first home in Gilroy in 2000 was a milestone. Nestled amongst boxes and unpacked dreams, Bill, in his charming way, asked Marcy to marry him amongst all the chaos. They married in October 2000, beginning this new chapter full of promises and hope. Their wedding was full of heritage, and because Bill was proud of his family, his roots, today I wear this kilt in his honor, a small, meaningful tribute to his culture. Together, they built a family. They had two beautiful children, Delaney Rose and Braden Lawrence Henry. Moving back to Morgan Hill in 2006, embracing the family life wholeheartedly, he loved being a father. And Delaney and Brandon were absolutely his life. They were more than his love, they were his everything. Fighting through the grit of life and the peaks in the valley, eventually divorcing, but even in breakup, Bill kept going. Okay, let me take you back to 87. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Bill had a major crush on this tennis player. And she had a big smile and a bigger heart. Her name was Suzanne Ewing. Let's go back to March 18th, 2022. He married Suzanne. And I'm telling you, Suzanne brought the best out of Bill. Faith, love, forgiveness. They were soulmates meant to be. On July 25th, 2025, Bill called me with news. Stage 4 cancer. It felt like the ground dropped out from me. On August 23rd at 9:58, Paul and I were on his side. It was the hardest day of my life to sit with our brother and say goodbye and feel him slip into peace. I was talking to Ross about this, and I'm agnostic. And so Ross gave me some words that he's kind of surprisingly spiritual. But he gave me some words that helped. He said, John, I don't believe this is the end of his story. I believe that he is whole, renewed, rejoiced, probably dancing that skull skank in heaven with all the angels around him and sharing that infectious laugh forever. And honestly, that's what I want to believe too. It's not over. I love that love continues in perfect peace, blasting Mirror in the Bathroom and jamming to Bob Marley, telling stories and dancing with his friends. Bill was a brother, a connector, a lover of life. He showed us how to ride the waves in skateboarding and snowboarding and live life with soul. We will miss him. We will remember him. Rest well, William the Last. You're one of the best. Don't look at it. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. I gotta bring props. Can't stick this in? I need some. Jesus. All right. I don't know if I need this, but can you guys hear me? It's good? Yeah. Okay. Hey, I'm Paul Camacho, Bill's lifelong friend. I would like to extend some condolences. Elaine, Jeannie, and Trish. Bill was well connected emotionally, but having 3 sisters was a huge influence on him growing and his emotional intelligence. He was straightforward, he was authentic, and he always knew how he felt. In turn, he helped a lot of his emotional, immature friends like myself grow. Thank you for being such caring and loving sisters. Audrey and James, there you guys are. He loved and adored you. Braden Delaney, you're the very best, Bill. Marcy, you loved him through a lot. Thank you for loving him, even when it's hard. Suzanne, you were the love of his life. You were what he needed. I lost a champion. Someone who always rooted for me. He always saw the good in me. Every time he saw me, he would tell me how proud he was of me. He would say how much of an incredible dad I was. And he told me he loved me every single time. He usually had a kind of a swear word in there. And he kind of was like this, like, I fucking love you. No? Yeah. Sorry for the swear words. Our formative years. I had my first beer with Bill. I learned John was a pyro after burning down the Irvin family treehouse. We played BB gun wars. We bonded over a movie, Platoon. Platoon was a story about soldiers in Vietnam. We loved it. We recited every scene. We were a little platoon of our own. There was a scene that especially I loved because it felt it captured us perfectly. The platoon had a few days off, and we're out for a night in a bunker, and they were playing music, enjoying each other, and just being together. And through these challenges that they went through, they had each other. That was us. That was us. 30 years later, Bill found an almost exact replica of a prop that they had in that bunker that night.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyways, my brother and me, we pass this along. My brother Bill and I would pass this along to each other every year. So it just reminded us of the bond that we had, our friendship, and love for each other. A little story on this prop as well. I was home in my home office in a Zoom meeting at my daughter's high school cheerleading squad. And my wife and daughter saw this statue in the back of my office. And they were texting me profusely, "Get that thing out of the background. People are going to think you're some sort of weirdo." Did we just become best friends moment? Bill was backpacking through Europe, and I lived in Germany. So he used my home as kind of like a home base. He'd go out to an adventure and come back. He'd come out to an adventure and come back. And one of those adventures was with me and a couple of my Air Force buddies. We were set off for the Bavarian Alps, Austria, the Zugspitze. And we brought a couple of cases of what we thought was light beer, and we on this trip, and we took off for this adventure. In Germany, it's totally illegal for passengers to drink and a riding car. So we were having a great time, laughing, talking, and just drinking away. A few hours into this trip, one of us said, like, "Man, I must have drinking like 8 or 9 beers. I don't feel anything." They're like numbskulls. We had bought non-alcoholic beer. Having Bill that summer was just what I needed. I was a bit homesick, and Bill's love and friendship helped me feel more grounded. We were always close. We were really close friends all growing up, but that was the time we became best friends. I'll end it with one more story. Somewhere between junior and senior year, we had not hung out for a bit, and we were off with other friends. Bill was exploring his Rastafarian bandana years. We were clubbing. We finally got together with Bill, and he was frustrated. "I need my bros." He wanted to make sure that we didn't lose touch. In his dramatic way, he said those legendary words: "It's not the same, man. It's not the same." Later, we laughed about that and used "it's not the same" and so many butt of jokes. Jokes of, the same butt of many jokes, excuse me. But all is good, though. This is the process of developing lifelong friendships. Sometimes you don't see each other for a while. Life goes so fast. But you always pick up where we left off. Bill, it's not the same without you.
I'm Adrienne. I've known Bill since we were each about 15, and I wrote a poem for him on the death of a childhood friend. Because inside human beings is where God learns. There is no place here for regret then. God needs our errors, our visits to the bottom. Together we showed him how to steal candy, get our boss to buy us beer, enjoy a midnight show. And now you have shown him something new. That pain, though when it arrives is everything, is next to nothing. Pain is a layer of dust on bedrock before the rain. And us, together, we have showed him that the half-life of friendship is infinite.
Hey everybody, I know a lot of you. It's good to see you again. It's been a long time. I'm Matthew, Matt, Ranieri, and Bill. It's just wonderful to see everybody here and to share the stories about Bill and be here and be present with each other. And John and Paul, beautiful. Thank you. So many memories there. I really loved hearing those. I wrote a poem just to encapsulate some feelings here. It's called For Bill. Many people speak of you today about how they knew you, how they loved you, their stories, their laughter, the light you left in their lives. But I want to speak about the you I knew best. You were playfully mischievous, that grin of the inside joke, that spark that pulled us all into the same moment. You were the older brother I leaned on, the quiet protector, tender without calling it tenderness, doing what simply felt right. You were the center of gravity. You didn't try to be, you just were. Friends circled around you like a loose constellation. You somehow kept you together. Everyone's best friend, because you listened, because you cared, because you made space for every version of who we were. And man, you loved to dance. In the crowded rooms, skanking, swinging, moving like someone who trusted joy more than fear. Tender heart, restless soul. You were both the storm and the shelter. A flash of anger that softened into laughter and then into quiet reflection. The Blarney Stone must have kissed you back, because that's the only way I can explain the warmth that you had inside you. You were always ready to listen, always ready to share something real. No polish, no pretense, just heart. Bill, you left too soon, but you're still here in the pull that keeps us connected, in the friendships you formed, and in the gravity that hasn't let us go. I love you, brother, and we'll carry your light with us everywhere we go. Thank you.
My name's Jeff Peterson, and I had the absolute pleasure of meeting Bill back in 2015, and I feel like I don't know anyone except for 3 people here, because I got to meet Bill in this weird detour that he took to Fair Oaks, California, where I got to meet him at 23 years old. And I met a guy who was closer to my dad's age than my age, and we just connected on such a level. If anyone ever met Bill, he just never met a stranger in his life, ever. And that's how it felt with me. Before I got sober and did all that, when I met Bill, I thought that part of my life, that spark and that energy and bringing people in was gone, but he did something for me that I could never repay him. He brought that light back in me, but with the light that he had. He had that spark and that energy, and you felt lifted up with him. You just, right when you met him, you met a friend for life. That's who he was. That was my friend Bill. Me and Bill connected on a level that made me so proud to be not only a person in recovery, but a person that got to meet him and be in his life. He was one of the first people that I met when I went into a recovery home in Fair Oaks, California, and thank God I did, because he saved my life. Absolutely. I was scared. I was terrified. I met Bill. And he was able to make me again, to have that spark of life once more. A few months later, when Bill returned, he went out and came back, and I remember I was in the parking lot and I saw him getting out of a car, and man, it was the biggest thing to see him come back. And I was able to give him a hug and return the favor that he gave to me, and we were able in that moment to bond and become brothers in recovery in that moment. We used to run a meeting at this recovery place, and it was called As Bill Sees It. And ironically so, right? Like, ironically so, I'm here with my lovely girlfriend, and she was like, isn't it kind of weird that you're like a friend of Bill, but isn't that what you call each other because of the whole, recovery thing? If you know, you know. And Bill, being the master of ceremonies that he was, took that absolutely to heart. And I got to see this man come in for these meetings and just bring an energy, and kind of like what I've been hearing, just everyone that wasn't even like, they're like not sure, like they don't want to be there, they don't want to, Bill took that apart right away. There was a little garage that we used to run that meeting in, and that would overflow with people that would come time and time and time again. And he was just able to get people to connect in that community that I don't think anyone else could, because he made it okay. He made it okay to laugh. He made it okay to joke and kid. And sometimes recovery can be very rigid and strict and everything, but he made it fun. He made it that it was great. And I remember after those meetings, we would just sit and talk about life. I remember one time after that meeting, I told him that I wasn't going to be able to make it the next week, and he told me no. He was like, no, dude, you need to be there. And he said, you're my Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson. And I was like, I had to remind him I was born in 1991. And like, the thing is, like, I knew who those were. I'm like, you better be careful with those kind of references, because you're going to age yourself real quick, bud. But we would connect over that kind of stuff, because I was such a nerd about like older movies and all those kind of comedy things. But I remember sitting out after those meetings and talking about life with Bill, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it was the same stuff every single time we talk about life. And he would talk all the time about getting back to his kids. That's what he would talk about. He would talk about, I need to do this. I need to be here in Fair. He didn't want to be in Fair Oaks, California. He was a beach guy. Like, he didn't want to be in Sacramento. No, you know what I mean? He wanted to be by a beach at all times. That's what Bill wanted. But he knew he had to be there to get back to you. He knew it. And then I got to meet Suzanne and your two lovely kids. And I got to actually get introduced to his life in such a way. You know, he eventually moved back, and I missed him all the time, but I would laugh and smile when I did, because I knew what we would talk about in that meeting, what we'd talk about late at night, like 2 o'clock in the morning, just talking about life. And we got to a point, and I would smile and be like, he did it. He got back. He got the life back that he wanted. He did the work, and he sacrificed, and he got back to where he wanted to be. You know, and I like, our lives kind of took separate turns, and we just, but I would call him every once in a while, and I would think it would take 10 minutes. Never in a million years. I remember one time we were on the phone for 2.5 hours. Like, I was sitting out, I can't remember what I was doing, but I was sitting out somewhere. I'm like, hey, I gotta go sooner or later, dude. Like, and it was just, and we would just talk for hours and hours. And in thinking about what I was gonna say today, there's a quote that's from a movie, and I would love to say, because to me it describes Bill a lot. It goes, we were all meant to shine, And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that was Bill. He just lit up a room and lit up your soul in the way that I can't explain. I'll miss my friend, but when I do, I'll smile at all the jokes and all the laughter and just making food for people and just having a lot of fun. I was his sidekick, and I got to ride that wave. And as you know, riding that wave with Bill can be a lot of fun, but it's exhausting sometimes. But I loved every second of it because he gave me something that I could never repay, and that was my life back. He did it for me, and I did it for him, and thank you so much for letting me talk. So that's all I got.
Sorry for being this way. I apologize. I recently had spinal surgery. I'm not back here yet. My name is Larry Livingston. In 2012, I got into some trouble and was sentenced to 3 months in a halfway house in San Jose. With horror, I arrived there expecting a house of degenerate felons. Everyone initially was very friendly, but after 3 days, the guy with whom I shared my room asked for a transfer because I snored. His replacement was Bill, who snored worse than I. Maybe not. That was the end of my terror. Bill, as you all know, was welcoming, bright, good-hearted, and best of all, he made me laugh. I must add that he, unlike I, was there voluntarily. He'd come up from a grueling stay at the Salvation Army. During the day, we each had our tasks. He had to look for employment. I had to attend a bewildering array of 12-step meetings. Every evening we had scrub. On Saturdays we had double scrub. Scrub was routine housework. Double scrub was housework and yard work. But at night, Bill and I exchanged stories. He spoke lovingly of his son and daughter, Braden and Delaney. No children were ever loved as much as you two. Of his working life and his marriage, he was invariably kind and supportive. I'm embarrassed to say my feet stank. He bought me shoe spray and Epsom salts. On my birthday, he surprised me with a birthday cake he bought. On a holiday, he cooked all of us a 5-course meal. He paid for me to have a shave at the barber. He began to pursue Suzanne. And the night before I slept, I was regaled with some crazy game he played on his phone and long, giddy phone conversations he had with her. Lots of giggling and murmuring love talk. It was really cute, but also a little sickening. It warmed my heart. He left the house, and ultimately so did I. Sadly, he continued to have intermittent episodes of his problems and the concomitant craziness. Suzanne was enamored with him, and for a time we had long phone conversations about Bill. Was it crazy to love him? I reassured her that he was worth it. His kindness, his good heart, and his emotional side and intellect were totally worthy of love. Ultimately, she continued with him. I was pleased. Finally, after a few more episodes of craziness, he got better. He never drank again, and he got a succession of jobs, each one better than the last. For a time, he rented my son's room in my house. He was so welcome because of his kindness and because of his cooking. He was a fantastic cook, one of those fabulous cooks who can make a delicious meal out of leftovers from the fridge. He also brought waffle batter, a small orange tiger cat. She came because he wanted Braden and Delaney to visit. They came once, got a look at my other tenant and me, and never returned. Finally, he left after a year and returned to Suzanne. He left waffle batter and renamed Chloe with me. Since then, he has continued to show his spirit by working incessantly, marrying Suzanne, and being a stepdad to James and Audrey. He continued showing kindness to me by inviting me to events and gourmet meals. I missed his wedding to Suzanne, which was quite an event, I hear, sadly. Their marriage has been stellar. The last time I saw him was about a year ago. After a delicious meal, we fell into a political discussion. He had been seduced by the dark side, and we got into an argument. After a rather heated back and forth, he became angry with me about what I thought was a non-issue. Suddenly, I remembered and reminded him of our 10-year friendship, how much I truly loved him. He agreed, and peace followed. 6 months ago, it's probably less than that, Suzanne let me know of his illness. I was devastated. The last time I spoke to him, I was amazed and humbled by his acceptance of what was happening to him. Good Lord, he was so young. I tried to reassure him, but he succumbed to an illness meant for someone of my age and not his. I've been mourning him since and frequently have flashes of his laughter over my stinky feet. Bill was a kind, smart, good-hearted, and funny man, and the world is poor for his absence. Rest in peace to the guy who called me Lair Bear. I even forgive him for that moniker. You are missed, my friend. You are missed. Sorry I had to read them.
So I wrote, because he wrote for my mom and dad, for my mom. I'm a crier just like him, so you'll have to bear with me. I'll do my best. Hello, I'm Elaine. William Lawrence Irvin. William, Bill, Billy, or Pachacaloopy Frog Morton, as our dad used to call us, was my very first roommate. For 7 years, maybe more, of my life. I am Bill's third sister. I am 3 years, 8 months, and 7 days older than him. Jean is his second sister. She is 5 years, 10 months, and 15 days older than him. And Trisha is his first sister. And she is 7 years, 10 months, and 18 days older. It's weird when you put it that way, isn't it? So anyways, we are very strong sisters. And that poor boy did not know what hit him. But he was very loved. Joan and Larry had to share him with us. That was his parent. But they did share. There are many stories that we have told so far, and there's many that we will continue to tell throughout the week, or many years and now. But when I think of him, I think of him recently. I think of the texts that we used to get. I think of his personal texts, the ones that he always sent us, and I don't know if any of you got these, but they always, when he sent a text, it had a Spotify song or something to it. Now, if any of you received those, please raise your hand. Sorry, I'm a kindergarten teacher, too. So, anyways, yeah. So the last time I got one from him, it was James Blunt, and it was Monsters. My response to him at the time was, wow. It was connected to our dad and his relationship. His connections and feelings and meaning, the true, let me go back. His connections to feelings and meanings that truly resonated with him, and how he wished you to feel, hear, and understand his thoughts, emotions, love, through the songs and their lyrics. Matt Ranieri. Sorry, I'm going to call you up, bud. You ready? Before you left us the day we were all sitting in Santa Cruz, we were all there. Billy wasn't doing well. We were all trying to figure out where we were going with him. And Matt came, and Matt put on music. Matt, what was the song that you put on? And he told us what? Always keep this playing for him. Scott Duarte. What Flogging Molly song reminds you of him right now? Scott, where are you? Did Scott leave? Oh. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, I'll come back to him.
Yeah, come back.
Yeah, to come back. Okay, John. Are you ready? What song brought back memories of the perfect day? You, me, and Bill shopping in Nob Hill. He said it was the perfect day. Do you remember? Yes, you're on fire, man. Kiss your brain. There you go. It's Simon and Garfunkel. Those old guys. Do you remember? Slow down. You move too fast. So we're dancing through the hallways in the old Knob Hill. And Bill turned to us and said, "This is the perfect day." So, let me see where I am, sorry. Bill was a boy, a man, who wore his heart on his sleeve, and lyrics touched his soul because he wanted us to understand. Sorry.
Don't be sorry. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Keep going.
Thanks.
We'll hold
You
you
hold
up.
me tight.
We'll hold you up.
Okay. That's the wrong page. Okay. Where am I? Sorry, guys.
No, don't be sorry.
Okay.
Everybody's here.
Every note, from Flogging Molly's stormy defiance to the pulsing rhythms of the English beat, to the steady fast hope of the Proclaimers, was a part of him. He was chased by his shadow at times, wrestled with the echoes of who he thought he should be. But even in the chase, he never stopped running towards love. He sought peace in melodies, found truth in lyrics, and found pieces of himself and relationships in songs. Okay. When life pressed heavy, he found himself in words like, okay, I've got to do this right. If I ever leave this world, I'll thank you for the things you did in my life. When he stumbled, his heart whispered. And that was by Flogging Molly's. When he stumbled, his heart whispered, "It's time. It takes more than tears to get rid of the stains sometimes," by the English Beat. When he looked at his children, he knew love never fades. Ooh, it only changes. He would say, "I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more, just to be the man."
Yeah.
What? No, just kidding. Okay, sorry. Billy loved deeply, laughed loudly. He lived even when it hurt. He wanted the music to share his emotions and love. He let us all know that family and friends were his true possessions. A good friend of mine, sister, passed not too long ago. Where is it, though? And she sent me this in a card. You know, it's always hard to figure out what you want to write when you're writing something very sad to somebody. So she sent this to me. And it's a poem for mine. Okay, I'm really going to try to make it through this. Okay. To the outside world, we all grow old, but not to brothers and sisters. We know each other as we always were. We know each other's hearts. We know we share private family jokes, remember family feuds, and family secrets, family griefs, and family joys. We live outside the touch of time. We are family. William, Billy, my love, you will be forever remembered, forever loved, forever our brother, still dancing and laughing somewhere between the beep and the light. We miss you.
When I think about my dad and what I want to say about him, I feel my chest tighten, I feel tears gloss my eyes, and I feel my tongue press the roof of my mouth in an effort to suppress them from rolling down my face. It's a real physical reaction in response to the thought of him, which is fitting, I think, typical Bill, making us feel. He lit up rooms with his pervasive happiness. When he was smiling, so was everybody else. I think of him dancing around the kitchen on Christmas with a dirty towel always over his shoulder. There's sounds of reggae music filling the room. Sizzling potatoes in the oven, chicken, baking, and an array of appetizers already on the counter. There was always too much food. I think that when he went into the grocery store, he kind of blacked out and came home with 8 full bags of food just to make one meal. And those were the nights filled with his love, his unabashed happiness that nobody dared to dim. But my dad was not only lighting rooms with joy, that would be a bit too cliche, I think. He knew how to create storms with one angry footstep, how to command the energy of the room with his raised voice and furious words. He was a man that was unafraid of tears, both his own and those of others. When Bill was sad, you knew, and you probably realized that within a few seconds of the onset of his tears, you should probably start yours up too. My dad was a man with vitality, a life force that attracted this room full of people, and I believe that his charm was his feeling. He did not shy from intensity. Every move was bold, every moment was on fire. Sometimes that fire was the warmth of his love and kindness, and other times it was a raw, destructive force. But it was never cold. In my dad, I find fervor for life. I see a man whose fire burned brighter than anyone I've known, and from that, I promise to carry a zeal for my own life and an absolute refusal for apathy. Thank you.
So I want to start by thanking Suzanne for inviting me to be a part of this celebration of Bill's life. Thinking about what to say today was definitely a challenge for me. I think it was obviously a challenge for everyone, but the kids and I saw and experienced some of the hardest times with Bill that nobody else did, and our story definitely didn't end up the way we expected. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marcy, and I'm Bill's first wife and the mother of our kids, Delaney and Braden. While things were definitely rough at the end of our marriage, there are so many things that I always loved about him. It's hard to sum up so much of our lives together in a tidy way, so I'm just going to mention a few things that are for sure a bit random, but as I thought about this, just memories and things that came to me. So both of our families moved to Morgan Hill in 1976, and it's actually about a 5-mile drive from my parents' house to where he grew up, but we didn't actually meet until we were introduced by one of my old roommates down in San Luis Obispo who lived in the same apartment complex as Bill did. I guess the biggest thing that I think about with him is laughter. Right from the beginning, just laughter. John asked me recently what first attracted me to Bill, and it was that. It was just how much fun and how much laughter all the time. Driving in the car, it didn't matter, just laughter. And this is one of those random stories. Sophie and Vance, you guys will remember. One of the things that we used to laugh at really early on is a soap opera called Passions. It was created in 1999, and it was one of the most ridiculous soap operas ever created. It had a witch, a talking ventriloquist doll, there was demons, and then the wealthy family in the hospital and all of those things. And Bill and I got hooked on it right from the beginning. And I was never allowed to watch it without him. We'd record the week. Most Fridays, Sophie and Vance would be over there watching Passions with us. We would catch up on the whole week. He loved this time of year, from this time all the way through Christmas, New Year's. Irvin family Christmases were always the best, both at Joan and Larry's house and at Terry's house in Danville. He loved shopping. He was excited when he found just the right thing. When the kids were little, we'd go to Gilroy Gardens Holiday Lights, and that was usually with the Avillas, maybe the Bells, the Dominguezes. He loved getting our Christmas tree and decorating it and putting lights up on in front of the house. And I remember, we still have the favorite Christmas decoration. One Saturday morning, the kids and I were running around with Blake and doing whatever random stuff, and I saw a sign for an estate sale. And when I walked into this estate sale, in the corner of the garage, there was a 6-foot-tall macrame hanging Christmas tree. And it was awesome, and I had to have it. But it lays flat like macrame does. And so I got it, and I put it in the back of the car, and I told the kids and Blake, don't tell Dad, he's going to kill me for buying this. And so the evening he was making dinner, one of those dinners, and finally I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go get it. And I went out and got it, got something today, and he loved it. Like, that is the most awesome thing I've ever seen. And we strung it with lights, and we still put it up every Christmas, and it is the favorite. Another thing that always comes to mind with Bill, and other people have already said it, is his cooking. Cooking has never been a particular skill of mine, and I don't find it very fun either. He loved to cook, and almost everything he made was delicious. The kids and I were talking with John and Paul right after Bill passed, and Paul was saying that Bill was the one, I think it was Paul, said Bill was the one who taught him how to make a sandwich. So Bill would put just about everything on a sandwich, everything. And everybody loved him. One time, he wasn't working, and so I had asked him to make the kids' lunches for school the next day. But instead of using bread, he used empty baked potato skins left over from dinner the night before. And he put turkey and cheese inside. That was not one of his more successful adventures. Maybe he was just trying to get out of lunch-making duty. But I remember being at Tammy and Jimmy's house up in Wilton. We had pizza for dinner one evening, and the next morning he was making breakfast. He made scrambled eggs with the chopped up leftover pizza in it. That one was actually really good. He loved music. Everybody's already said this. In the early days, dinner on Friday and Saturday nights was almost always an event, often with different friends coming over. There was always music in the kitchen, and everybody's named them all already. Ska, maybe reggae. Surprisingly, there was often country. Maybe you guys didn't know that one. He listened to a little bit of just about everything, and usually he was dancing along with it. And I'm not sure if you guys know this. He loved cleaning the garage more than anyone I've ever known. It seemed like about once a month he would take everything out of the garage and put it in the driveway. Then he would sweep the garage and reorganize everything as he put it back. More than once, people would stop and ask if we were having a garage sale. And they were especially looking at, some of you know, his New Belgian cruiser bikes. They would always want one of those. He loved his kids and spending time with them. Delaney was just 16 months old when Braden was born. I was definitely tired a lot at that time, but when I needed a break, he would load up the kids in the stroller or the wagon or the bike trailer, and they would take off. As they got older, he would regularly take them on what they called their adventures. Many of you know Braden's friend Bryce, who spent a lot of time with us. Bill would take Braden and Bryce on adventures on a pretty regular basis. Usually they were hikes, but I never actually was exactly sure what happened on those adventures or where they went. One time there was a mention of one of those check cashing places, and they're like, oh yeah, we went there with Dad. I'm like, oh, okay. I remember the kids giving him mani-pedis and doing his hair. He was always game for that. I remember when we went to see the movie Enchanted, it was packed in the theater and we had to sit in the very front row. But he loved it. And as we walked out of the theater that day, he was singing and dancing and skipping and just pure joy. I remember one time we were going to paint Braden's room. This was later, high school time, I think. Bill and Braden had started painting the room, and Delaney and I had to go and run some errands. So they got started. We came back a couple of hours later. They had painted a half of one wall. They said they were tired from all that painting. So I sent them to Home Depot to get new blinds. When they got back, Delaney and I had taken over, and we were just about done. Like, we were finished with the first coat. I remember lots of trips, moving Delaney to Davis, Braden to Santa Barbara. I remember how sad we both were as we would drive away. When we left Braden in Santa Barbara for the first time, my phone would still sync to his AirPods. And we were driving away, and Bill said, I need to stop for a second. And he pulled over to the side of the road. And when he pulled over to the side of the road, I got an alert on my phone. And it said, Braden's AirPods are left behind. They were last seen near UC Santa Barbara. Both Bill and I kind of lost it when we saw that one. He was always so very proud of them. And above all, they were the greatest joys of his life. I think I finally want to just end and mention that I'm grateful that even after everything that happened with he and I, we were always able to remain friends and tried to always be there for each other. He and Delaney and Braden and I were a family. He has definitely gone too soon. I miss him, and I probably always will, and I pray that he's at peace.
All right. So I want to start by saying I wrote this last night at about 11 p.m., and it's not because I wasn't thinking about it, but I learned it's a Noonan characteristic of always being late. And as many of you know, my dad, he was always late. But you know what they say, pressure makes diamonds, so. All right. So my relationship with my dad is definitely a complicated one. And there are moments and even years that I'm not going to let him off the hook for. He hurt people. He hurt me, my sister, my mom. He hurt his sisters, his nieces and nephews, and his friends, some of the people that cared about him the most. Despite that, I was reminded last night that he really tried his best to be there for these people. And in the later months of his life, or years of his life, I should say, he was. This hurt, though, is something I can't really put to the side, as I'm sure many of you can't. So I think the best I can do is give you all a picture of what it was like to have him as my dad. And I think the biggest thing in our relationship that I want to mention is consistency, and sometimes the lack thereof. As a kid, I was incredibly emotional, and I know that's crazy to hear, coming from Bill's son. But believe me, it's true. So also, I mean, like I said, last night, things are a little raw right now. But I'm reminded of one of many movie nights with my dad. He had put on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. But before the movie started, he had gone out into the garage. And so naturally, I followed him, as I did a lot of that time. And I stepped into the garage for a minute. And as soon as I opened the door, I was greeted by a distinct smell that some of you may know. Through my 6 years of wisdom, I had come to associate the smell with something I called my dad's blue pipe. So I sat with him for a while. It was a nice time, actually, guys. So sat with him for a while, and I came back inside. I talked to my mom and my sister, and I said, nothing to worry about. We'll be inside in a minute here. He came inside, turned off all the lights, and started the movie. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen The Sorcerer's Stone, but if you remember the Cerberus from that, and the best special effects that 2001 had to offer, it scared me really, really bad. And my dad knew that, but he turned it on anyway. 6-year-old me let his emotion come out, and I begged for him to turn the movie off. But I remember the thing that kept me there. It was something that always came out with his blue pipe, and it was ice cream. And it was ice cream with cereal and peanut butter and milk and chocolate sauce. Now that was something I loved about my dad, and people have said it consistently. His ability to create something in the kitchen, especially on movie nights after the blue pipe. I'm reminded of other things that I loved about my dad, like how he nerded out to Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, or whatever it was. Or as John and Paul mentioned, his ability to bring his family and friends together. He was that driving force. But I do blame John and Paul for that time they popped the inflatable bubble that my mom had literally just bought for us. I think the hard part about thinking about these good times from when I was a kid was the dark times that start to seep through the cracks. And they started to take over a lot in the later time of my dad and my childhood. Birthdays and holidays felt really different as a kid when they were spent at the camp, which was the first rehab center my dad went to. My family spent one Thanksgiving at the camp. We played tennis at this court they had there. I'm taking that? Thank you. And we didn't really say much as we played. The air that hung over the game was palpable. All we could do was send the ball back over the net. And I think that's what a lot of that time felt like. Just sending the ball back over the net, all of us trying to keep our heads above water. That year we waited until he got home, just a few days before Christmas, to get our tree. We went looking through muddy Battaglias, through the lot to find a tree. But we weren't just looking for the tree, we were looking for the magic that the Irvins are so good at bringing to the holiday season. I think we all knew then that his addiction was not something that was going to go away anytime soon. And I think that was a consistency that really hurt. In the recent years, though, he started to bring that consistency that a father needs to bring. While snowboarding has proven not to quite be my thing, although he'd argue I need more practice, the constant reminders to go riding and requests to go riding and our trips up to the snow are something I've really come to cherish in recent months. I think my favorite memory with my dad, though, came when we visited the Santa Barbara Botanical Gardens my freshman year. Thank you, Suzanne, for that trip, I have to say. As we made our way along the path, we stopped and we saw a stone bench that was sitting right perfectly in the sun. We sat there for a while, and we got up, and we moved to the next bench, and then the next one after that, until we had made a game out of it. We were going to sit in every bench in the entire garden and figure out which one was the best. Now, I know he found the bench for him that was the best one, because as we sat for a few minutes in quiet in this nice shady spot, the quiet broke eventually. And it was a familiar sound that anyone who has slept within a square mile of my dad knows. He had started to snore just after a few minutes. For me, though, I think my favorite bench was the first one we sat together with. When we made that game and found a time and space to really be together. I think that was my favorite thing that I've done with him. My dad was someone who struggled, someone who hurt the people he loved. He was someone who loved a lot, though. He was emotional, always late. He loved adventure. He was someone who was never afraid to tell the people he cared about just how much he cared about them. He was someone I wish brought more consistency in our relationship. I know I'll miss the consistency he did bring, though, especially his constant reminders to my sister and I about how incredibly proud of us he was and of the people we were becoming. He's someone I know would have been an incredible grandfather. And I'm really deeply saddened to know that won't be a reality. On the night my papa passed away, my dad told me he saw a spirit come up the stairs and walk right by him. The morning my dad passed, we sat with him in the hospital. At one point, I left the room to use the bathroom. As I walked down that hallway, I begged to see a spirit walk past me and make its way wherever it was going. But the truth is, I didn't see it. Instead, I think I get to see something better. I see a spirit when someone asks me where I'm going and all I can think to say is, crazy, wanna come? I see a spirit in this room with all the brilliant faces that he's brought together and touched these lives in some way or another. I'm reminded of this poem that was shared with me by one of my professors after I had told him my dad had passed. It reads, "Your absence has gone through me like thread through a needle. Everything I do is stitched with its color." I might not have seen a spirit walk past me that morning, but I see my dad's spirit in most of the pieces of everything I do. Thank you.
I'm Erica, and Bill was my brother. He was a new brother, and I was trying to decide what I wanted to say today, but I wanted to just speak from my heart. And tell you a little bit how I knew him. I actually knew him when I was in high school. He took me to my first ska concert, and I was like, damn, he can dance. And so I would just try and copy what he did, and it was never the same. But he just brought so much joy always around. And when he met my sister, I remember he'd come with the Camachos. It was like always like they came over our house. It was like crazy. And I remember one moment Suzette and Bill were hanging out in the living room, and I was just, as a teenager, what are they doing over there, So I was kind of the creeper around the corner, and I remember watching them kiss. Yeah, we had to see all these things. And so that was some of my early childhood memories. And then obviously after a certain period of time, I didn't see him. And then, then it was a moment where he came back into our lives. And I remember the struggles, and I'm just so glad that the transparency of everything that Delaney and Braden and Marcy had shared, because I was worried, when he met my sister and they started falling in love. And my dad being an alcoholic as well in recovery, I was like, it's scary, it's hard, are you ready to do this? But the way they loved, I'd never seen two people love each other more, and you have to take those risks. And it was the most beautiful thing, seeing them love and live and bring life, and then meeting the family and having more just joy. I mean, it was beautiful. And so them being married here and them back here, it's just a lot. And I can't imagine, I know what my sister's going through. I'd put her to bed every night. And it's hard. But the thing I loved about Bill is going through my phone, and like many of you had said, he always said, I love you. He taught me to be more emotional, and I'm thankful for that. And gosh, was he funny, like you all said? He was so freaking funny, oh my gosh. I loved when he'd come to our family events, because if you knew my dad, we have this big, huge pole where he put the flag up, and he was so proud, to have that American flag. And so Bill and I would laugh every time he'd pull up and we'd start singing, "Proud to be an American." And we were just always cracking up. Like we were just make fun of everything. And it was so stupid and funny, but that was the thing that I loved about Bill. And then when he'd come over to the house, at my house, he's like, I have to pick up something from Suzette. She wants to get something for an event. We end up talking in the driveway for like an hour. And then we'd really know about what we were doing in each other's lives. And he would just give all the updates about his kids. He was so proud of you. So proud of you. And then I remember when he got sick and driving him back from one of his doctor appointments. And he talked about his dad and the spirit in the staircase, and we talked about that. And he had hoped that he would see, maybe someone would see his spirit. So maybe someone has. We don't know. But I think he's here. And a lot of you saw on the sand these little clovers out there. I mean, he's here, and I feel him. And I think the most important thing that we need to remember, because we've all had loss, we've all had grief, is to keep his spirit alive. And so when you think about him, reach out to the kids, reach out to Suzette, reach out to Marcy, reach out to the best friends. Like, that's the way you keep him alive. And I want to remember him always. And so let's all please do that. Thank you.
That was a really good job for being unscripted. That's why she has a podcast and I do not. So if you don't mind, I will be reading from this because I don't want to miss something, okay? I just want to thank you for being here to show your love for Bill, my sister, both of their children, Bill's sisters, and the rest of their families. Your presence really means a lot. My sister has worked so hard and has done such a beautiful job to celebrate Bill and all of the love he gave all of us throughout the years. I hope this gathering brings much healing and hope to everybody here, as I know it will for me. It feels like yesterday that I had the opportunity to speak about my sister and Bill the day they got married at this very location. It breaks my heart to know that we are here again for a reason we all did not expect. On that day, I recall referring to Bill as a gift to our family. I just didn't know at the time how big of a gift that really was. When I think about Bill, I think about the obvious, his outgoing character, his explosive laughter, his love and dedication to my sister and the rest of us, and all that energy he brought when he entered a room. But what I also think about and feel so blessed to have experienced with him is that other side to him that was so deep, so heartfelt, emotional, but along with some struggles. I had the opportunity several times while he was around our family to talk about the difficulty he had academically growing up during his school years, and also some of the struggles he faced as an adult. Having children who have also experienced academic struggles and much more, we really bonded about this, and I was so grateful he shared his stories and how he truly listened to mine. I'm really going to miss that. And now that when I reflect back on all of that, it reminds me of how much I believe a human has the capacity to heal from the inside out when we allow God to love us and lead us. No matter what the struggle is, in so many ways, Bill reminded me of my father, who had some similar struggles. So what I love about Bill's story is that he chose to endure what it took to get to a place where he was, and I believe is at peace with our Heavenly Father. And he did this while helping so many other people along the way. I feel that is where Bill really shined in his life. And although we will never know why Bill's cancer ultimately robbed him short of many years, one thing is for sure. He remained strong in his faith and had one of the biggest Jesus hearts I know. And I had the honor of experiencing that firsthand in early August when we gathered at Bill and my sister's home. I recall the confidence he had with his faith. I recall him trying to share with everybody who was praying for his cure and his healing, that he really wanted everybody to also know that even if God chose to take him earlier than we would all prefer, it would be okay. It would all be okay, and he is good. That type of spiritual strength and peace is admirable to me. It was also an honor for me to be by his side during his last days, not only so that I could help my sister navigate the medical process, but because I got to witness how much love that transpired between him and my sister, Bill and his children, and his sisters, and the many years of love between him and all of his friends that were by his side. I truly believe he felt every bit of all of your love during those last days, and I believe he was so grateful, and so am I. So thank you all for being here and sharing your stories, and I'm going to go off script for just a moment. I'm not good at that.
You got this.
But I'm so grateful for all the stories, because I'm the youngest and the shyest of the three, and I'm so grateful because I remember seeing some of these stories when I was little, just watching and quietly just observing, and I'm grateful for that. And like Erica mentioned, I want to just share with you, every time I referred to him, if we were happened to be together, especially when the nurses were coming in or the doctors, I would say, this is my brother-in-law. He'd be like, Jamie, I'm your brother. I'm like, sorry. So I got to whisper those last words to him that morning and just tell him I love you, brother. And that is really the best gift. So he has also made one little 11-year-old girl very sad right now. You know, she misses him terribly. She couldn't come because her heart's broken. But so if you could help me pray for my little girl, that was her Uncle Bill. And he had such life and love, and I just know we're going to see that more and more amongst all of us tonight. So thank you for being here.
I refuse to cry. So you have to pray for me, please, because I want to honor this great man. A year ago, I bought him this poem. It's called Neverland, because he was Peter Pan to all of us. We all had a moment with him, and he would take us in the clouds and bring us such joy. He would chase his shadows, as someone mentioned earlier. He was beautiful, and I loved going in those clouds. He was crazy. Like, where are we going? But I always enjoyed walking in those clouds with him. And this is the poem. You know the place between sleep and awake? The place where you can still remember dreaming? That's where I'll always be. That's where I'll always be waiting. He'll be waiting for us. So when he died, this is fucking bullshit. This is bullshit. And I reached out to Rich, your girlfriend, and Sonia, and they tried to save his life. My sister went to try to get him in UCF. Erica, everyone was trying to get him to stay alive. We tried. We really tried. I was pissed. And then Trisha sends me this poem. Every time I'm pissed at Bill, Trish calls without knowing. She always does. I'm fucking so mad. And then Trish, hey, I thought I'd call. I think Bill's telling me to call you. You're pissed off. Okay. So she sent me this poem, but Elaine had given it to her. And I know Bill sent me this poem. And this poem isn't just for me. It's for all of you. So if we're done playing games, sounds like Bill, huh? And accept it will never be the same. I'm walking over, take my hand. Let's start with a dance in Neverland. You be my Wendy and I be Peter Pan. Fly through the clouds without a plan. Just be my girl and I'll be your man. Dancing on top of the storms as fast as we can. We all had a season with Bill. I was fortunate to have the last season. Family and friends was most important to Bill. Bill is smiling right now. I know our Father above has given him a front row seat to witness this beautiful day. I am so grateful, each of you who took the time to be here. There's a Gaelic phrase for seated at the right hand of God is Er Yeshde Gu Ga Rev Anum, which means may his soul be at the right hand of God. I am not sad, and I choose to do that every day. We do not have to be stuck. I'm just carrying sadness for a while. When someone loves you like Bill loved us, he would want us to laugh and dance and enjoy our lives. So let's live this life with no regrets. I know Bill is with his parents, Larry and Joan, my father, Jim, and my grandmother, Audrey. Isn't it lovely that we all have that choice to be in heaven one day with him? I asked Bill once what his legacy to be. Without hesitation, he said, Father,
You too were the loves of his life, not me. He loved me and Marcy very deeply, but you were the loves of his life. Thank you, Marcy, for sharing him with me. Father, that was Bill. Pure-hearted, direct, clear about what mattered most. And today, as I stand here with all of you, he loved you. I want to honor that legacy, the legacy of a father, a husband, a brother, a friend, and a man who lived with his whole heart on display for better or worse. My name is Suzanne, and I was proud to be Bill's wife. He was my first kiss, and I can remember that day like it was yesterday. He took my breath away. I knew that man for 44 years as a friend, and being his wife was just a bonus. He gave me laughter. He gave me tears of his unfiltered honesty and love. That was the real, as real as it can get in this life. He was 55 years old when he passed, and while that may feel so far too young, Bill packed more genuine living, more authentic connection, and more love into his years than most people could do twice in a lifetime. Bill loved the song, The Blessing, that Aaron and Leah sang. He played that over and over. When Bill liked a song, you'd hear it for days and days. God, he loved that. It was literally his favorite song. It's because he described how he felt about you too. And you too. And you, Marcy. And all of you, because you were all family to him. That wasn't just a sentiment for him, this song. It was everything. Being a father, being present, being the person you could count on. That was Bill's purpose. You were given a schedule today. I worked really hard on those cards. Don't you throw those away. There's a QR code. And that's a gift that I know for a fact that he'd want you to listen on the way home tonight, because it's about family. Please do that for my heart and for his, for your families, and your children and their children. Now, if you knew Bill, you knew that he had no filter. He said what he was on his heart, and his sense of humor had comedic timing that could catch you completely off guard. He'd say something so honest, so unexpected that you didn't know whether to gasp or laugh. And usually you ended up doing both. We all learned to work around his Irish temper, and I can second that emotion. Because we knew the truth underneath that temper. He loved us deeply and fiercely and without reservation because he didn't want you to stop loving him. That was why he was so mad all the time. Bill had this gift of making you feel like he's his favorite person. Anyone who sat by his homemade fires knows exactly what I'm talking about. He'd get that fire going. Oh my God, he drove me crazy with that wood and that saw. I was like, you should not be operating a saw. And somehow the glow of those flames, you feel seen, you felt heard, you felt the most important person in the world at that moment. That was Bill's magic. He could make a moment sacred just by being fully present in it. But Bill's gift went deeper than making you feel special. He had an extraordinary ability to draw out your pain. Oh God, he was good at that. And bring it to the table, and he wanted to discuss it for hours. He didn't like people hurting. He couldn't stand to watch anyone suffer in silence. Bill would stay with you, talk to you, love you until you were finished crying. My dad would say that to me. I have to mention my father. Not only my father in heaven, but my biological father that I loved. When I first got divorced from my children's father, I was sad. It was my first Christmas I had to share my children. It's hard to share your children with another person.
And I was going to Safeway, and I saw Mrs. Irvin in this beautiful black fur coat with a diamond brooch, and I'm very extra. I love all that stuff. And I said, Mrs. Irvin, she goes, Suzanne, and I go, oh, I miss Bill so much. Will you give him a Christmas hug? She goes, I certainly will with that red head. And I went to the house, and my dad goes, we need to get some ice. So I was just down at Safeway. Why didn't you call me? And he goes, let's just go down. And I cried all the way down and cried all the way up. And he goes, are you done crying? And I go, yeah, I'm done. He goes, no, I think there's a few more tears. Who says that? When you cry, ask people when they're crying, are you done crying? Well, I wasn't, of course, so I just kept crying. And he goes, and I go, I'm done crying now, Dad. And he goes, okay. He goes, now everybody's inside your house, the house, and we're going to celebrate Christmas, so don't ruin everybody's Christmas. And that was, I never thought that I would ever get someone to let me keep crying. I love you, Les. I just had to say that. He was my dad's best friend. But God knew better. When God closes the door, he brings you two more. And Bill was a big door. But Bill's gift went deeper than making you feel special. He had an extraordinary ability to draw out your pain, and I'm sorry I'm repeating myself. Bill would stay with you, talk to you until you're done crying, and he meant it. Before I go further, I need to honor the people who walked this journey with Bill and myself, because Bill's life was never a solo act. It was a symphony of relationships. Erica and Jamie, my sisters, thank you for walking me in the dark places. You held me when I couldn't stand. And Hiroshi and Kevin, where's my Hiroshi? Where is he? Oh, my Hiroshi. And Kevin, where's my brother? Thank you for loving my sisters and letting me. I'm so high maintenance, and you let me have them all the time. And I really love you, Hiroshi, and I really love you, Kevin. You take care of me. Paul and John Camacho. Where's my brothers? Oh my God, the life you've given me. I went clubbing with Bill. We go clubbing, and I'm like, I didn't know life could be this big. And you gave Bill that big life, both of you. They were my friends, separate from Bill. But together, we made a family. I appreciate you, John and Paul, for being in the hospital with him. They wouldn't let me spend the night with Bill in the hospital because he had a male roommate, so Paul and John would spend the night with him every night. I'm just grateful to you. I love you both so much. Me too. Thank you, John. He just started telling me that. I'm so happy. I've been saying I love you for years. You're finally giving me back the love. I love it. Where's Jerry? Where's Jerry Bell? Where's his hand? Where's Jerry? Jerry. I wrote something perfect for you. Ready? Okay. You were his brother. God, you were his brother. Soul brother. He loved you so much. Every time Jerry Bell walks in a room, Jerry Bell. He loved saying your whole name all the time. And you'll see in the film that we created, you will see a visual of this. You gave him success in his life, Jerry, and his dark times. You never judged him, and you loved him when people would judge him. Most of all, the love and snowboarding with you, those mountain moments with you were pure joy for him. Braden and Delaney, I've tried so hard to come up with the right words, but you melt my heart when I see you and your eyes. You have his eyes, and I just don't know what to say. So I'm going to do my best. Your dad loved you too, more than anyone on this earth. No one could create his happiness or laughter like you both. You were his greatest achievement, his deepest love, the reason for everything. Your dad, Marcy and I's husband, we did everything to get him to stop drinking. But I told him one day, I said, you know what? You didn't do it for them. Why would you do it for me? And he wouldn't. And I said, you got to do your own thing. Sometimes you got to let people do their own thing. And he called me one day when he has a breathing tube. And he called me from the hospital. I go, I'm not coming because you're not going to learn. And he said, I'll do anything to get my kids back. I said, okay. Put him back in another rehab. The day my dad died, I want you to know this. He saw myself as a little girl crying and losing my dad. And he didn't want to do that to you both. And so he came back fiercely. When I said, you can't do it for us, you have to do it for God and yourself. And he made that decision at the day that my dad died. Was the day he came to my dad's funeral detoxing. I was so proud of him. Marcy, he deeply loved you. He never stopped, which made me love him more. And you're an amazing mother. Those children, I got to take lessons, but these two are pretty cool. And I respect you. James and Audrey, thank you for allowing Bill into your heart to be your father. It took many years of ups and downs, and he loved you both like his own. And where's Eric? There. No, the other Eric. That too is a good Eric, but where's Eric? Oh, there he is. There. He lives with us. Bill called you a bonus son, and you brought a peace in our home that not only are we grateful, but we needed. To my golden girls, put your hands up, golden girls. Gina, coming every month. For a whole year, she dedicated to be with me every week, one week a month, and I'm so grateful. Erin is not here tonight, unfortunately, but she is beautiful to my heart. And Kenda, God, her and her husband, Aaron, that spoke earlier, flew from Nashville in the middle of the night to pray over him so he wouldn't die, and it didn't work. But you know what? That love is a seed in me and everyone here that you tried. Andrea, oh God, she will cry with me to the ends of the earth. I love you. Monica, you're the smartest girl I know. And you just always give me logic, and you're beautiful. You're beautiful to my heart. Jennifer, I love you. My twin in the spirit and in every ways. Like, there are no words except for you're in me and I'm in you. These girls are really our golden girls. And you loved Bill deeply, and my goodness, did he love each of you. The laughter and support you have given him through the years. I'm grateful that each of you are here with me now. And your beautiful husbands that I call my brothers, Aaron and Eric and Mike and Hunter, Monty and George. Thank you for being real men in my life. And Bill, you brought help bring them back with your love. Also, I depend on you, sweet girls, and I pray pray for me weekly. My therapist is here, Simone, on Mondays. And Tuesdays, my sisters walk with me, my sister Jamie, and Wednesdays are with Gina, and Thursdays with Andrea, and Fridays with my dear friend Catherine, my sweet sister. And every night, Erica puts me to bed. Trish and Elaine and Jean, Bill's sisters. I would not have experienced this love in my life without the three of you. It took a lot of women to raise Bill. All of us, Marcy, all of us. God, you know he dated most of these girls in the room, too. God, thank you for helping me. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. You three, Bill, with your beautiful parents, Larry and Joan. Thank you for loving me and Bill in more ways than I can count. And there's a man in there. Where's Scott, Jean's husband? Oh, God. Geez, you had a lot of brunt work with him. He loved you. And we're going to talk about that later tonight. But you could be the only one that can hang with these ladies, huh? Bill will be known for the best hugs. If you ever received one, you know that they were the kind of hugs that made you feel safe, that made you feel loved, that stayed with you long after he let go. He'll be remembered for his laughter, for helping people out of dark places, to talking to you until you felt better. He loved his work at Hint. Oh God, he loved that job, and he loved working at the movie theater in Morgan Hill with Cinnamon Six. Oh, and then his son, I think he forced Brayden to get that job too. He loved snowboarding, cooking, and his dogs. These weren't just hobbies, they were the expressions of who he was. But what I loved most, what I want to make sure everyone knows, is Bill's genuine journey over the last 10 years to know Jesus. And not in a religious way. And prepare himself to go home to Jesus. Heaven was always a mystery to Bill. He never wanted to be religious or fake, so we fought a lot about it. It wasn't always easy for him, but he chose to make the decision to accept Jesus and follow him with his flaws and all. That was the Bill I knew, honest enough to come to God without pretending to have it figured out, brave enough to choose hope, even when he couldn't see the full picture. Bill had a quote that became a lifeline of many of us. When you have no hope, hope for hope. I customized this baton that says this is what I just said, because many of us walked with Bill and passed this baton along. I was grateful to have the last baton. I honor all of you who supported Bill through this journey. You carried hope when he couldn't. You passed it forward when your strength was failing. You ran your leg of the race, your courage and love. This baton is for all of you that you know when you helped him. So I just share it with you. Yes. I will miss Bill's laughter. I will miss his embrace. I will miss his unfiltered truth telling and the way he could make me feel like the only person in the world. I miss this man who was my first kiss. But I take comfort knowing that Bill is home now. The mystery of heaven that he wondered about is now a reality. The Jesus that he came to know and follow over those last 10 years has welcomed him with open arms. And I imagine Bill is ready, making everyone feel like their favorite. Probably with a fire going on somewhere. Definitely saying exactly what's on his heart. Bill's legacy is father. Father to his children, father figure to those who needed one. A man who embodied what it means to love imperfectly but completely. A man who left us far too soon, but who lives in every hug we give, every moment we sit with someone in the pain. Every time we choose hope to hope when hope seems impossible. Thank you, Bill, for your pure heart. Thank you for entertaining us, for loving us, for being exactly who you are without an apology. We love you so much. We'll miss you, and we'll carry this baton forward until we see you again. Rest well, my love. You're home.
Has a reason all its own. Every lover's love needs a place to land. I know gotta let you go. So run as fast as the wind can blow, and dance like you did when you were 16 years old. When my time becomes forever, I'll meet you by the river. We'll take a big deep breath, jump right in, 'cause we'll be better than we've been. But until then, I see your eyes in the eyes of all you love. I see the best you see in everyone. Still hear your laugh that covers me like a blanket, helping me believe when all my hope is gone. I know I gotta let you go. So run as the wind can blow, and dance like you did in all the stories you told. When my time becomes forever, we're all gonna meet you at the river. We'll take a big deep breath, we'll jump right in, 'cause we'll be better than we've been. But until then, thank you for making me better than I could ever be. Until I'll hold your hand, we'll be better than we've been. So run as fast as the wind can blow, and dance like you did when you were 16 years old. When our time becomes forever, we'll meet Bill next to the river. We'll take a big deep breath, jump right in, 'cause we'll be better than we've been. But until then.
William, I am very, very proud to know you, love you, and to be by your wife's side as she goes through this journey, but I'm also kind of pissed. Why would you leave me with this crazy lady? I prayed for you to come and save me, and you did, but now what? She's crazy. What am I gonna do? However, I do want to tell you that you inspired me to write something. Dear Bill, I hope for hope and pray that you are seeing and feeling all the love for you here today. Yes, I'm writing another card because these were my idea. But there's still so much I need to say to you. Thank you for January 2016. And I know you know what that date means. Thank you for being vulnerable and comforting me when we talked about addiction. You were a branch I can't read my own writing. I was able to grab onto when I was falling through my own journey down that rabbit hole through hell. And back. Always listening, always making me feel less alone and more understood after a conversation with you. I'm going to keep talking to you in my heart and in my prayers. Keep delivering that signature Bill Irvin, wisdom and laughter. Keep an eye on us all. Send us a tune every now and then. I only wish I could have one more signature Bill Irvin hug. Luckily, your son inherited your ability. We will love your kids, your pride and joy, as we loved you. Rest easy, my friend. We've got them and we've got your wife. We'll see you there. Love you. Gina.
My name is Rich Bermia. To Bill and the family,
It was a beautiful thing having you as a friend, seeing you at the reunion the last time was the last time I saw you. And then, of course, after finding out we were both in the same fight, was really scary. But you know what? I will see you on the other side. And God bless you. And everybody here loves you. Everybody here remembers you exactly the way you were, always in high school. And you know what? The infectious smile and the infectious eyes and this cheerfulness will never leave anybody's heart. Everybody remembers Bill that way. And that was the most beautiful thing about him. He was a light, a definite light. Beautiful person, and just the life of the party. Cheers.
Hi, Suzanne and family. You know what? I really miss Bill. He was such a good friend, and I love his honesty. And whenever we end our conversation, he always says, "I love you." That is such a dear friend, very honest. And you know what, Suzanne? He's in the presence of the Lord, so that's our big consolation, that he's in the presence of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We love you, Suzanne. Julie and I always pray for you and your family. Julie, say hi. We love you very much, Suzanne.
Well, you know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. When the money comes in for the way I do, I'll pass on every you. When I come home, well, you know I'm gonna be the man who's coming home to you. If I grow old, well, you know I'm gonna be the man who's coming home with you.
What up, Uncle Bill? It's Nathan. Obviously miss you very much. I'll say one of my favorite memories would be going over to your house and having dinner when we were younger. I also still remember when you came over and got busted for breaking into the liquor cabinet. Have a good one, brother. Love you. Miss you.
Bill, you know I love you, and I really thank you for the friendship we've had since I met you. I really miss you. I know you were Jesus, and you were my homeboys too. I know they're taking care of you up there, and I really love you, brother. And thank you, Suzanne, for always loving us back. And we love you, Bill. God bless you, man. I love you, you crazy son of a...
Hi, Suzanne. My favorite memory of Bill was actually the last time I saw him. Last time I saw him, I worked with Great America at him, and he was sick, but he came and gave me the biggest hug, and he helped me do all of the work that I was supposed to do by myself because he would not let me do it alone. And he came and checked on me multiple times as if I was his own daughter. And That will forever be one of my core memories because I could feel the love that radiated from him. Because he didn't need to do that, but that's just who he is. He's a lover and a giver. And I'll forever miss his hugs because he has the best hugs in the entire world. And that would be one of my favorite memories, would be the last memory that I saw of him.
Hello, this is Angela. Bill is very constant. And we love Bill very much. And he's a good person. We love him very much. And we have a good time with him.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, we're crazy party time. Don't give up. Somebody love you. Don't give up. Somebody cares. Don't give up. Somebody love you. I love you, Gabriel.
All right, guys. Say, are you ready? Say, are you ready to stop? Say, are you ready? Say, are you ready to stop? I said stop. Oh. Ready? Say, are you ready to go? Say, are you ready? Say, are you ready to go?
So, Bill is not only my cousin, but we went to Cal Poly at the same time. And when we were out on a Friday or Thursday or Saturday night, and I would run into him downtown, he always had the biggest smile and the biggest laugh and hug. It made me feel like just the most important person in that moment. And it always meant so much to me. So thank you, and I wish we could have more of those moments, Bill.
Sweet William, William the last Irvin. He has always been such a joy in this whole life. My brother said he was never going to have another child except he wanted a boy. And that's what happened. Sweet William came along and he provided such joy in everybody's life. His laughter, his smile. I saw somebody at a restaurant the other day and I thought, oh, that's Billy. And it brought tears to my eyes. We will always miss him.
Love you, brother.